advertising contact. Hey, I ain't come to preach, I'll let Jamaica stand behind that. I just want a seat so I can know where my behind's at. Hey, no turning back now, I got here without a scratch. I once was the background, but now I stand side court. Never thought this rapping would be breathing down my 30s, yo. Hey, you could call it focus, I've been staring at them birdies, yo. It's more than what I expected, but damn it, I'm thankful. See, I've been a blessed man, but blessings don't pay the bills. I'm all about the art, but compromising don't hang well. What monetary feed'll get your commas by the hangnail? My conscience wouldn't breathe right, but you on the other hand, you'd rather suffocate to be ahead of another man. Full of yourself like you the moon and shit. You ain't the last supper, boy, you're just a spoon in it.
Sometimes I feel like I'm standing on a track, waiting for a train to hit. Hopefully someone will move me. Hard time seems to choose me. I entered this new year with all my old fears, old bills and older ears. That's tired of hearing what I don't have and what I haven't done, what I haven't provided for daughter and son. I stand here growing in grief, never showing my teeth. For what? Smiling's not the answer. My father says I'll find it in prayer. I'd rather find health care. I don't feel good these days. Sick to my stomach of my ways, of wanting others to fail, just so I won't be alone in the pale for self. Like in jail for self, I'm calling out for my phone call, just to get told I'm not provided any service at all.
All right, we're here. We are here. We're here live. We're here live. In the name of Amen, the Supreme, the All-Powerful, the one and only true Lord, and Amen we trust, and Amen we thank it, and Amen we continue forward forever. Good evening. I'm your host, the Intellectual Lord Benjamin Manhattan, and this is High and Mighty Thoughts with me, the Intellectual Lord Benjamin Manhattan. Tonight I'm going to be discussing why so-called Black Americans are definitely not African. Why aren't we African? And why am I doing this? Am I doing it to crap on the Africans? No, I'm not. Because you know, I got respect for, you know, like I said, it's not about so much just proving that we Africans, but more or less proving that we got our own American culture here in America, our own separate culture, which people know that. People know that. What triggered me to do this tonight, and I want to say good evening to everybody. Greetings tonight before I go in. Stevie Wonder, the beloved Motown artist, beloved musician, beloved artist, recording artist, love Stevie Wonder forever. He's like, he's the man. Stevie Wonder, definitely American indigenous brother. Why did Stevie Wonder get dual citizenship in Ghana? And now, if you look on his Wikipedia, they're saying that Stevie Wonder is Ghanaian American. They're trying to say that Stevie Wonder is an African American, a Ghanaian American. All right. Now, because this man got dual citizenship in Ghana, so like I said, if he got dual citizenship anywhere, does that make him an immigrant? If he got dual citizenship? And why this is important is because this is nothing but cultural erasure all over again. This is nothing but how you say, this is nothing but the what's the guy that did the what's his name? The guy who did the misclassification. That's what this is all over again. Y'all realize this, right? You seeing history repeat itself all over again. You seeing history repeat itself all over again. They got Stevie Wonder up here saying he's Ghanaian American. And I'm gonna say something also that was very deceptive, because what I'm seeing is they trying to make it seem like the media is trying to make it seem like so-called Black Americans are not Americans, that we are actually Africans in America. All right. Now, again, I just told you about the Stevie Wonder thing because he got dual citizenship in Ghana. They don't sit up here and made him a Ghanaian American. Now, I know to a lot of you so-called pan-Africanists, that seems to be a feather in your cap because you want to align yourself with many of the African countries in the so-called diaspora in the continent of Africa. So a lot of you want to be seen as immigrants, which I don't understand why. You see, our American indigenous ancestors are turning over in their graves. And like I said, I'm only doing this to show that we actually have American roots that are very strong here in America. And we never call on our American ancestors. We never call on our American roots. We never cling on to our American roots. We always sit up here talking about Africa. And our story does not start in Africa. We have our own independent culture here in America. And that's the point I'm going to drive home tonight. When Angie Stone passed away, on the news, they were saying, I don't know if they was meaning to be deceptive. The news people, they were sitting up here talking about Angie Stone is from Colombia. Now, they kept saying Colombia. They didn't say South Carolina. They said Colombia. Now, for somebody and I know I heard this right, they wasn't saying South Carolina. They were saying Colombia. Okay? They were saying Colombia. Why are they saying that Angie Stone is from Colombia and they leaving the South Carolina part? It would make you think that they talking about Colombia, South America. And even though that's in America, but it's still making it seem like our people are not indigenous here. Y'all follow where we going with this? So it's a lot of people. And I asked this question: what do the so-called Native Americans and the so-called Native Americans and the Pan-Africans got in common? Answer: they don't want us to be American indigenous. They don't want us to be American Indians, American indigenous. In other words, they don't want the truth to come out. That's what that means. They don't want the truth to come out. They don't want it known that we American indigenous people. They want us to still believe that we somehow connected to Africa. And again, no disrespect to Africa, but we are literally spitting in the face of our American indigenous ancestors because we holding on to this African lie that we come somewhere from Africa, somewhere, and we're not even really questioning where in Africa, because it shouldn't even be a question at this point. It shouldn't be a question at this point on whether we are American or African. We are thoroughly American with no African roots. And again, that's not to say that we don't consider people in Africa our people. We don't consider them, like I said, they are related to us. And I'm going to say this: I got people who come from Africa or have African roots in our community, but who we are as the Amun race is much stronger than who we are as, nationality. But for nationality's sake, because we can call everybody a damn American if we wanted to, but for nationality's sake, we have to be real about who we are. For nationality's sake, for the fact that our history is very long here in America, and we sitting up here giving our history up to other people. We letting other people divide up our history. You know, the face of the American cowboy should not be a white man. The face of an American cowboy should not be a white man. That face belongs to the so-called black man, the bronze man, the real American cowboys. But you would never know that because they constantly shoving the Marlboro man in your face, and they want these white boys to be the cowboys because they, you know, when they were sitting up here and they call us cowboys, just like they do all kind of degrading stuff they call our people, we somehow take it and make it cool. Like you know, we was the cowboys because, you know, we were good at wrestling cattle and wrestling cow because we did it with buffalo. So when we were working on farms or ranches with, you know, these Caucasians took over, they was calling us cowboys. They called us, because, you know, they was calling us boys, not men. So they would call us cowboys. You know, they go get the cowboy, which was your bronze, so-called bronze men, so-called black. And the white ones was called cow hands. Now, they didn't realize that the term cowboy sounded so cool, you know, because especially since our people was doing all the cowboying and wearing the cowboy hats and wrestling the cattle and working with cows and stuff like that. They'll go get the cowboy, the ones who working with the cows, the boys that they say working with the cows. So that, you know, as it became a cool word, a cool term and whatnot, now all of a sudden the white man wanted it back. The white man wanted it back. Now the cowboy is a cool term, but it was already attached to our people. So now they want to replace our people. That goes for anything. Whenever we do anything in America, any of our culture comes out, it's always demonized until somebody else takes hold of it. Next thing you know, they make it a hero, you know, a great thing, a great heritage and whatnot when somebody else takes hold of it. Like, for example, this country sits up here and talks, you know, has all kinds of, you know, honor, so-called honor for the Native Americans, right? The so-called Native Americans who are not indigenous to America, the so-called Native Americans who are actually Mongolians and Caucasians. They have so much honor for the so-called Native Americans, but when the American Indians was running out here, running around wild out here, aka the so-called Black Americans, the American Indians was out here, we was all kind of dirty savages and this, that, and the third. You know, like the racial stuff they call us today. They call us all kinds of names and demonized our culture, our American indigenous or American Indian culture, part of that. So once they reclassified our people as Negroes and Africans and all this other stuff, they end up calling our people to hide the fact that we are the real American Indians, the real American indigenous people, because here it is, you have a whole history that was wiped away, a whole history of American indigenous lineage, of Mesoamerican lineage, of American cowboy lineage. You have a whole lineage, a whole history of us here in the Americas, a whole history of us here in the Americas, and the people who are being cited now. They doing something with they trying to make Crispus Attucks. They try to make my wife said, they try to make James Brown half Native American. They playing these games now. They basically taking all of the people who are icons amongst so-called black people, and now they're half Native. Like they remember, like that guy too, that clown, the Native, the so-called Native guy that's on YouTube. He trying to make Michael Jackson and Jimi Hendrix Native American. In other words, they want to gatekeep who gets to be a Native American, who has their Mongolian blood in them. But here's the thing: we as indigenous Americans were always here, and y'all mingled into our bloodline. I want you so-called Native you want to be black Native Americans who want to get down with these tribes. I want you to understand something. We have a history here long before the so-called Mongolians came over into the Americas. We had a history here as the indigenous Americans before the white man came here, before the Mongolians came here. We have deep American roots here in this land, and it's a damn shame. It's a damn shame that we are letting them be taken away. We let it all be taken away from us. We got these so-called celebrities out here who's selling out our indigenous American heritage. They got these idiots sitting up here like Mike Tyson and damn Kendrick Lamar, which I see. I guess you know why Kendrick Lamar was able to do the Super Bowl thing. You know, he sold out. Your boy Kendrick Lamar, he sold out. Because he is sitting up here pushing this whole African thing. That's how you know we're not African. Why is it so why is it so imperative and so important for them to keep pushing home the fact that we not American Indians? Why is that so important? Why are they only doing that with us? They don't do it with the so-called white man. The so-called white man sits up here and claim he Native American. He got Native American blood and he from this tribe and that tribe. And don't nobody ever press him for it. Don't nobody ever question him for it. He just say it and that's just it. And nobody questions. He don't have to do no DNA test. Hell, he could just walk off the street and join a damn a so-called Native American tribe. They'll accept a white man in there. If he got enough money or shit, he could be a bummy white boy. He could come in there and join a Native American tribe. They ain't asking him for no damn blood receipts of what tribe. They ain't asking him that. They're not asking him that. But you come in there, which we shouldn't be going in there anyway, and trying to get with their tribes and want to be like, get out of that, man. Get out of that. We got nothing to do with these people and their native tribes. We are indigenous people in Americans, and we need to start establishing our own identity, separate from African, separate from Native American, separate from all and anything dealing with pan-Africanism or Native American. We need to establish, and that's what we're doing right now as the Republic of America. We establishing our own lane, which has always been in existence as American indigenous people. Americans first. First Americans as American indigenous people. We're establishing our own lane because it's about that time. Again, they going in, so many people going into overdrive, trying to keep pushing us back into pan-Africanism. You see, right? So we playing our role in this thing as American indigenous people. That's why it's important that we have this American Indigenous Street Music Festival. You already know, I'm gonna bang the drum again. Donate to the American Indigenous Street Music Festival. We need $13,000. We at $2,000 right now, 2 and some change. We need 13,000 some change before May. So everybody, please donate. Hit that link. I'm putting in my money. We need $15,000. We need that to make this American Indigenous Street Music Festival jump off. We're going to be featuring our American Indian heritage, our Mesoamerican heritage, which is the Olmecs, the Aztec, the Inca, the Mayan, where we really come from in South and Central America, and those who made it into from South and Central America into North America as the Aztec and the Mayan. You notice they don't never talk about that in history. They leave things purposely out of history. Now, notice we don't know nothing about the Mayans coming here. You don't know nothing about the Mayans coming here or the Aztec. Look that up. The Mayans and the Aztec came here into America. Now, ask yourself a question. Why don't they talk about that history? Why don't they talk about the history of the Mayans and the Aztecs coming over here into America? Why don't they talk about that? Why don't they talk about the Asian slave trade that took place where the Euro-Spanish took the Mongolians from Asia and brought them over into South and Central America and Mexico, and they became so-called Indians? Why don't they ever talk about that? Why is that left out of history? Why they never talk about that? They'll say we wrong for talking about or bringing up our American indigenous heritage. But you know what? These two events that took place of us, of the Mayans and the Aztec coming here, that's proven fact. The Mayans settled in the southern regions of North America, which is Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina. They settled down in Georgia and they started breaking up into different tribes and going all out. That's where your Yamasee come from. That's where your Cherokee and all those other indigenous groups come from. They come from the Mayans. You know why they never talk about that? Because they can't link the Native Americans to it. They can't link the Mongolians to it. The people who are calling themselves Native American. Because keep in mind, those people are almost done. The only reason why the so-called white man allowed them to keep their so-called Native American thing going, because they plan on phasing them out after a while anyway. That's why if you notice, you'll see a lot of Caucasian-looking tribal leaders in these Native American tribes, because they're going to phase them Mongolian-looking ones out too. Because the so-called white man, he wants to be on paper. He wants to be in the history books as Native American, which he is. He is. I told you, because the meaning of the term Native American just means people who came from elsewhere and started having children here. And this is what the white man did, just like the Mongolians did. These people came from elsewhere. They are foreigners. They are foreigners in our land. Do you understand me? These people are foreigners in our land. They are foreigners. The so-called white man is a foreigner. The Europeans, 1828 Merriam-Webster Dictionary, they should have never left that out. 1828 Merriam-Webster Dictionary, American, the copper-colored races. They didn't say the white race. They didn't say that. They said the copper-colored races. All right? The copper-colored races who were found here by the Europeans, who now call themselves American, the Aboriginal people. The copper-colored races is us. We already know our skin is copper-colored. We already know. Nobody else is copper-colored here. We already know. And if you see these Mongolians sit up here and say they copper-colored, that's because they mixed in with us. They half-breeds. The Mongolian Native Americans are half-breeds, and some of them don't even got none of our blood in them. Some of them just look like straight-up Asians. They're not native anything. Well, I should say they're not indigenous. They natives, but they're not indigenous. You have to understand that that indigenous trumps native. So we got to keep banging this horn again. This is why, because unfortunately, now to go down the history books at Stevie Wonder is Ghanaian American. They want us all to be African American. They want to Africanize us because they don't want our roots locked into America. They don't want our roots locked into America. They want to pull our roots up from America. That's it. That's it. They want to pull our roots up from America and plant them in Africa. And they got a lot of these silly Negroes like your Kendrick Lamar's. That's why I said, everything come with a price. So he'll sit up here and say he's African just so he can keep doing things like the Super Bowl and get money. Because again, these people that's pushing pan-Africanism, like I said, that's a hot commodity. Anytime you see they pushing so hard to keep pushing that we African, why do they even care? Why do they care? Why do certain people behind the scenes care if we acknowledge who we are as American indigenous people, as Americans, as American indigenous? Why do they care if we no longer call ourselves black people or African American? Why do they care? Why do they care? If it's not real, why do they care? If we live in a fantasy world, we delusional, so what? Let us be delusional. Why do they care? You know why they care? Because they know it's the truth. They don't want us knowing the truth because, see, I told you, the real Americans have not been standing up for a long time. The real Americans have been in the background. The real Americans have been in the shadows, being called black people. And it's sad our people still don't get it that you're being called black people because they're trying to hide your identity. So that's why I laugh at people when they talking about some foundational black Americans like Tariq Nasheed saying, or any of this pan-African stuff. Again, they still trying to hide our people in the dark, man. They still trying to hide our people in the dark. They still trying to Africanize our people. All of them. That go for Tariq Nasheed too. Him too. The FBA thing is nothing but African Americanism. That's nothing but African American. That's all. Or he's taking FBA and he's trying to use it to cover our American indigenous heritage. Instead of him saying we American indigenous or we American Indians or just American indigenous, he's saying FBA. They trying to use FBA to replace American indigenous. And see, I'm gonna just say it like this. I don't think Tariq Nasheed is alone in this. He got people behind him because that FBA thing is becoming way too popular, way fast. Why do you think that is? Why do you think the FBA thing is becoming popular? It's because certain people are allowing that message to get out. Certain people are allowing that message to get out. You see, they want that message to get out so that we stop looking at ourselves as American indigenous. See, because when people like Dane Calloway, Kareem, I'm giving all shout out to all the people that started pushing the American indigenous thing along years ago. Dane Calloway, I think he's been pushing it for about 6 or 7 years now. You had Kareem Howell and a whole lot of documentaries that went on. Salanya YT, Sasalino YT. Shout out to all of them, 1,000 go-aheads, and a lot of people who still not up here, who ain't up here now. We got to keep pushing the truth, man. We got to keep pushing the truth about who we are as American indigenous people. People who are of this land. We got to keep on pushing that truth. We got to keep that going, man, because the so-called white man, the beast, he don't take no time on. Now, again, I'm not going to say all white people. I'm saying those evil racist ones who pushing this lie. And you got a lot of evil black ones that's helping too. You see, these evil demonic people never take a day off telling lies about our people. So you don't see me really taking no days off telling the truth. We got to spread this truth, and we have to have our own American Indigenous Street Festival. We need this. We got to stop getting together under pan-Africanism. We got to stop getting together under blackness and all that other nonsense, man. All that's doing is hiding who we are as Americans, the real Americans by nationality. We ain't no black people. We ain't no Africans. We are Americans. period. Just like that. Americans by nationality, Americans by indigenous status. That's who we are. We are the people of this land. And we need to keep driving that home. That's why I ask y'all, please support this. Everybody been giving in money. I thank you all, but we got to keep going, man. Please, we have to. I want to get this going every year. We need to keep this going. You see, and like I said, as time goes on, you're gonna start seeing people kind of pissed off and whatnot. But so what? Let them be pissed off. These so-called Native Americans, they want to sit up here and say, "Oh, you know, why y'all trying to steal our culture? What culture? What culture? You trying to steal our culture? You the one sitting up here trying to claim so-called Black Americans as indigenous, like James Brown. They tried to claim Michael Jackson. What's the other guy's name? Jimi Hendrix. They trying to claim our people, and they trying to claim our music. You know, they was trying to do a documentary talking about jazz music came from Native Americans. Can you believe this shit? Can you believe this? Jazz music was influenced or came from Native Americans. They sliced and diced up our music and our culture. Oh, the food, our soul food is from Africa. Our music is from the Native Americans. The American Cowboys is white. They're Europeans. The American Indians are Mongoloid Indians, Mongoloid natives. You see what I'm saying? All of our history, and now this clown Lake Wazamo talking about, oh, even though I don't care about no damn crip walking, I don't care about that. No nonsense, no gang nonsense. But this idiot gonna tell me crip walking came from the Mexicans. They just sitting up here wholesale lying, and Black people put soul in it. Get your ass out. Get your lying ass out of here. All these people telling lies. And Busta Rhymes, this Sambo. Busta Rhymes, this Sambo coon, sodomite, sitting up here talking about we ain't got no culture. Busta Rhymes, y'all in Jamaica, there's no Jamaican culture. Jamaican culture is Irish culture. Jamaicans are the way that Jamaicans talk. That's from Ireland. Those are Irish people. That's an Irish accent. Your Jamaican accent is an Irish accent, and you Jamaicans got Irish last names. Marley is an Irish last name. Garvey, as in Marcus Garvey, is an Irish name. So y'all been colonized, y'all a bunch of damn Christians. Y'all a bunch of damn Christians. What? So tell me again, what so-called what culture do Jamaicans have? Tell me again, what culture do Jamaicans have? You see? What culture do Jamaicans have? Since Busta Rhymes talking about, you don't know the yard man and all that. You talking like an Irishman. You talking like an Irishman. The Irish came over there and taught y'all how to read and was teaching y'all, and y'all start sounding like them. That's where that Jamaican accent come from. So next time, Busta Rhymes, you talking that Jamaican stuff, and like I said, you wasn't talking about Jamaican when you was over here with leaders of the new school. You wasn't talking about none of that. You see? And you know, allegedly you a sodomite, even though it ain't so alleged. It's coming out all over the place. Is that part of Jamaican culture? That you a sodomite? You see? Is that part of Jamaican culture that you because everybody putting it out there? Is that part of Jamaican culture to be a sodomite? Where you pick that up at in your culture? These niggas is something else, man. Yeah, Italians sell Jamaican beef patties in the store. A Jamaican beef patty. Right. That's what you are, Busta Rhymes. You a Jamaican beef patty. The hell out of here with that nonsense. Listen, man. Too many people. Listen, man. This is why we got to demand the hell with these people. They're gonna lie to the damn sun burnout, man. They're gonna die with the lie. They're gonna lie to the damn sun burnout. The hell with these people, man. To hell with these people. This is why we have to know again. People like I said, the people that want to be African American, let them be African American, man. That's what I say. Let them be African American. Let them embrace Africa. You know, and again. I don't know what the hell Stevie Wonder is on. I know, I don't know. I don't get it, but it's whatever. You see, you got these people again. Why is it such a big thing to erase our heritage and culture here? Again, none of these people will say, hey, bring these people out here who studying the history of who we are as American indigenous people. Why won't they come up here and allow people to bring out the paperwork and stuff? And like your Dane Callaways and your Kareem Howells and your Sasilano, we got a lot of indigenous American indigenous historians. That's why I call you American indigenous historians. out here, we growing our own crop of American indigenous historians. Hail Amen. Hail Amen. You see, we getting a lot of American indigenous culture here. And let me tell you something, American indigenous culture is the planetary culture. Like I said, all we said is it starts with us first. Everybody else is just an embassy out here. You see, we the Americans. We are the Americans. That's what they've been hiding from us as Black Americans, meaning blacked out Americans, people whose heritage and history was blacked out, was erased. And you still got a bunch of our people walking around here calling themselves Black people. They still ignorant. They still walking around here calling themselves African American, which makes me cringe because they ignorant. Again, it's one thing for a bunch of people to misclassify you and lie about you purposely. It's another thing when you start to accept it. It's another thing when you start to accept it. You see, we got to stop accepting lies, man. Replace the lies with the truth. Replace the lies with the truth. You see, we have our own food, which Tariq Nasheed was pointing out. We got our own type of food and the type of way we eat. We got our own way to dress, our own movement. Like I said, it just is what it is. You know, it is what it is. We don't, again, it's not about trying to be better than anybody. I'm gonna be just real. You know, it's not about trying to be better than anybody. It's about being who we are. Because again, it is an insult to our ancestors. It is an insult to our ancestors to sit up here and be called anything other than what we are, which is American. We need to be standing up tall and proud as Americans here in the fatherland of America. Again, don't let people sit up here and try to tell us how old America is or how, this being a new world. It's not the new world. This is not the new world. America is the first world. It is the first world for the American indigenous people. It is the first world for us. This is not no new world. This is a new world to them. But here it is. They try to make us strangers in our own land, which brings me to that, because, the Israelites always sit up here and say, oh, brother, see, you don't understand. If you read the Bible and it says we're gonna be brought into a land and chains and whatnot, and we're gonna be strangers in this land that's not ours. First of all, let me say this. If you're claiming that, you were born into a land that was not your own, if you're claiming this, if you're saying this wholeheartedly, then I want you to think about this. Once they came in and took over America, once we allowed them to put us in chains, once we helped them take over our homeland, some of our people turned, then yes, we became strangers in this land. Yes, we became strangers in our own land. Yes, we were brought on our slave ships and not from no place else. We were brought all around America, from one part of America to the next part of America. And yes, we were reclassified as Africans and Blacks and Negroes and everything else. So yeah, we were brought into a land that was no longer ours. It was taken away from us. It became the so-called white man's land, you see, which is really not his land. Like I said, he took charge of this land. He took hold of the land. But we know the first people are always going to be the people of the land. It don't matter who come after us. One is the prime number. The first people are the only real people. One is only. Clear? One is only. So the first Americans, the first indigenous people are the only real Americans. We are the only real Americans. So when I say we American, we mean that, and we put in parentheses indigenous. Yeah, the white man, them are American. They got to put in parentheses immigrant. They got to put immigrant. They got to put native, because it's really just the world full of two types of people. You got the indigenous people, which is the so-called Black Americans, and then you got everybody else, which is natives. People who came from elsewhere and started having babies here, who connected themselves who latched onto America and basically just started having babies here and just taking on the title of American. You can't change your nationality to another. You don't get to have, that's some nonsense the so-called white man made up, having two nationalities. Because again, when it's us, notice that whenever it's us, everything belongs to everybody. Our stuff belongs to everybody. When it's our music, it's everybody's music. But when it's their music, it's their music. When it's their culture, it's their culture. But when we say we American, it's our culture, and we don't want to, we're not connected with Africa, we're not connected with Asia or nothing else. We just American. People gonna have a problem with that. But so what? Let them have a problem with it. So what? When people sit up here claiming a Dominican Republic or wherever they claiming, or Nigeria or whatever place they claiming that they come from, when they claiming that, that's for them to claim. They're not looking for you to claim that. But so when it comes to something to us here in America, oh, we all together. But when they, like I said, when it's them, it's they start talking about where they come from. They start flying their foreign flags and talking about where they come from. But we here in the Americas, we got a foreign flag up in America. You do know that the so-called flag, the United States flag, is not an American flag. That's a foreign flag. Why? Because George Washington is not American. All them people, them Caucasians that made the United States flag are not Americans. They're Europeans. You can't put a flag you can't be people from another land putting a flag down in a country that's not yours. So what, you came here and start setting up shop. It don't mean it's your country. You're not indigenous to it. That's like I said, I can't go into Italy or Rome or Greece or wherever. I can't go there and put a flag down. I can't do that. I can't just start being Italian. I can't by national. I can't start being German or French. So why is it the white man get to come over here and start calling himself American? How you do that? How you get to come over here and call himself American? Make that make sense. He can't do that. He can't do that. But he does it anyway, but he can't do that. You see? He does it anyway. He does a lot of things that he's not supposed to do, but he does. But like I said, the only thing, the remedy to that, and I'm gonna say this, it's bigger than just names and titles and indigenous stat. It's about who we are as a culture. We need to understand, why is it that our culture dominates America? Why is it that our music, our food, our dance dominates America? Why is it that everybody listens to our music in America? Why is it that everybody eats our food? Why is it that everybody knows that our culture is American homegrown? Everybody else's culture comes from someplace else. The Italians' culture comes from Italy. They pizza and everything else, even though the tomatoes is from America. You see? But these people, their culture is Italian. They pizza and they linguine, they're foreigners. Okay? The Irish, like I said, their culture is in Ireland. They got their foods, they ate Irish food, they eat, and their culture is in Ireland. They even got an Irish language. Everything these people brought here, they brought from someplace else. The Asians, like I said, the Chinese, the Japanese, I'm gonna call them by their country. Their culture is from their homeland. Their culture is from their homeland. So if their culture is from their homeland, they shouldn't be sitting up here trying to act as though they American. You see, they are American immigrants. They are United States citizens, but that's about as far as it goes. They're not Americans. They're United States citizens. You see, we're the only Americans here, and we being treated like shit because of it. We're the only real Americans here. These people are United States citizens. They didn't want to make us, the government didn't want to make American indigenous people, bronze-skinned people, so-called Black Americans. They did not want to make us part of the United States, make us United States citizens. You see, this is what the whole thing of civil rights was about, because they didn't want to make us citizens in this country. Why? Because we American indigenous people, not because we African. Not because we African. You don't never see the Africans have problems in America. The Africans don't have problems here. The Black Americans do. That's how you know we're not African. Black Americans are the only ones who have problems with the police here. They're the only ones who get harassed in this society. Like I said, because you know we're not African. That's why. We're the only ones that get harassed here. You see? And like I said, I didn't want to see this thing turn into a Native American thing, because nor did I want to see us start trying to reenact American Indian culture and heritage. We don't need to do that. We don't need to do that. We need to align ourselves with who we are as American, our American roots, and go forward there. That's what we need to do. just among ourselves as Americans and whatnot. Stop with this Black American nonsense. Stop with this African American nonsense. Throw all that shit in the garbage. Stop with this FBA garbage, because FBA is trash. I'm gonna just say it like that. Because again, I'm sorry, Tariq Nasheed, your whole breakdown of FBA, and we had, you making this shit up again, and that's fine. You can fool some of the people. Like I said, you fooling people who don't know no better. You sitting up here talking about we the product of Africans and American indigenous Black people mixing together, and that's how we came on ethnogenesis. Then we African. Then why are you saying we not African? Then if you saying what you saying don't even make no sense. We not African, because if you saying, he goes to say we not African, but you saying that we are the product of Africa. That's like saying I'm not my father's son or my mother's son. Like that's like saying, because that's the funny thing about it. I heard Tariq Nasheed, he'll sit up here and he'll say, people call it and say, are they FBA, right? And they'll say my father or my mother's from Africa and I'm from such and such, from America, my family from down south. But then he'll be like, oh, you have FBA. But then my question is this. If you saying we come from Africa, our descendants of African and American mix, which is African American, then how we not have FBA? How we not found half a foundational Black Americans, as you saying, because you saying we half African. That's what you saying. That don't make no sense. Again, I keep telling you, people can keep trying to Africanize us. Don't trust none of these pro-Blacks and all these pan-Africanists, because they're getting some kind of money or some sort of benefit from Africanizing us, just like the so-called white man does. They have to act, they want to Africanize, and they want to continue to Africanize us. You see, our culture is different. Our culture is different. Our culture is different from African culture, as you can see. And for y'all to sit up here and believe this, like I said, our people are the slowest people on the planet, man. For you to sit up here and believe, and again, it's not a shot at African culture and anything African, the people that were born in Africa and things like that. It's not a shot at them, but this is more because, again, respect to the Africans. I respect everybody who respect us, but fact of the matter is that our culture is American. And where I think that wherever everybody is in the world, wherever everybody is in the world, where you and I'm gonna say this about the so-called Africa. A lot of the people that's in Africa, I've been said that they're not African. A lot of people in Africa were brought into Africa. You can look and tell certain people are not African and certain people that mixed in with the tribal Africans. So the so-called tribal Africans, their music and their food and everything else, the typical Africans, they're totally different in culture and looks and everything else. But you know how the so-called white man, he want to group everybody together. He wants to group everybody together and just call them African. Everybody look like us, so that he can go ahead and ease his way into being an American. I'm a white American. America's a white country. Really? So if America's a white country and, so-called Black people, they the ones that built this country. So how is it a white country? If our people built this country, did the labor and things like that, the heavy lifting and putting everything together, how is this a white country? If our people were forced to fight in wars in this country and whatnot and defend this country against foreign invaders, supposedly, how is this a white country? How? That means all white people should have been fighting in the military. That means all white people should be fighting in the military and paying taxes here. That's what that means. Why are we paying taxes in a country yet we tell them this is a white country? No, it's not. That's just like that lie they try to tell about Greece and Rome, ancient Greece and Rome being white civilizations. That's a lie. In the movie Gladiators, you had so-called Africans and people and American indigenous people living in Greece and Rome. You had people circumnavigating the planet, and they were living in Greece and Rome. Greece and Rome was a heavily mixed race society. You had a lot of different people from different walks of life living in Greece and Rome. You see, but you would never know it because they try to paint Greece and Rome as Caucasian societies. But they don't tell you that the original people that inhabited those lands were bronze people. You see, the Etruscans The Etruscans were your first Greeks and Romans and whatnot. These were bronze people, so-called black. Your Etruscans. You see, your Britons were your first people before the British. So our people were indigenous to everywhere. That's why I say, you know, we link to the word indigenous, the first people. The first people represent the Amun race. That's why I say we have indigenous people who may be indigenous to Africa. If they hear the transmission, then they are Amun. If it don't matter where you are, if you in Brazil, wherever, it's bronze people, wherever you heard it, because we about an indigenous thing. We about the indigenous, we indigenous to the whole planet. So when we stand up for our indigenous status as Americans, I would say that about the Africans who over there. If you indigenous African, if you indigenous European, wherever you are, your family is, then you need to stand up for them. I'm talking about my bronze people all over. The bigger picture is who we are as the first people, the indigenous people, the Amun race. We are the first people to touch down on the planet Earth. And so if our people spread out all over the world, those of Amun going to come together and go forward again. But we got to first stand up as the leaders, the headquarters of this thing, which is America, which has always been America. You see the white man coming into America as Europeans and trying to become Americans. Why would you want to become American if there was nothing here? We proved that the word, see, they have to lie. We proved that the word America was in use already, and it was in use long before the guy Amerigo Vespucci. That word America was in use already. Okay, or else you couldn't have called so-called black people Americans. If the word really came from a Caucasian European, then you couldn't be calling so-called black people the first Americans. You couldn't say that they was the copper-colored races. You wouldn't be referring to this place as America and whatnot now, because again, you saying that these people were the first ones to name it. So you telling me everybody was walking around living in a place they ain't had no names? People tell lies. People tell lies. You see, people tell lies every day. And people are still lying to our people every day. People are still sitting up here trying to get us to believe we're something that we're not. And like I said, the Stevie Wonder thing just took the cake. The Kendrick Lamar, you're going to start to see a lot more of these celebrities come out because they see what it is. When Dane Calloway and all them people came out there, they didn't think that the American Indian movement or American indigenous, movement of thought that, is permeating the air now. You're starting to see a lot of our people wake up to the fact that they're American indigenous people. Now you got to have the sellouts come. They got to get the paid sellouts, your celebrities, to come out here and push pan-Africanism again, because they don't want our people declaring themselves American Indians. I'm talking about the people, the so-called powers that be, the people that are sitting, up there behind the scenes, who want Americans to look a certain way. See, when they say American, they want the white man to be first, and then everybody else could be behind it. So my question is this: if you saying that everybody could declare themselves American, then who's American by nationality then? Who's American by nationality? Who are the real indigenous people of this land? Don't lie and say you wiped out 77 million damn Indians and that they dead, all the indigenous people are dead. No, they not. No, they are not. They didn't kill no 77 million people. They misclassified them and just called them something else. That's all they did. The government misclassified and called the American Indians or the American indigenous people something else. They called them Negroes. They called them blacks. They called them mulattoes. And I was watching this documentary the other day, and you got these so-called natives who are, you could clearly see they some of them are mixed, they Asian and black mixed, so-called black, indigenous and mixed, and they talking about, oh, y'all trying to claim our culture. They really doing this shit too, man. These so-called natives, you trying to claim our culture and whatnot, and why y'all, first of all, it's not your culture. Your culture is Asia. Your culture is Mongolia. You should be happy that you have a drop of our blood in you, so that this is why you're able to claim that you're American indigenous, because you got our blood in you, not the other way around. You see how they try to twist things around? They saying those of us who got this Mongolian blood in us, because they call it native blood. Well, what is native blood? What is native blood? They won't answer that. They won't say it's the same thing as Asian blood, but the so-called white man know. Your scientists know these people are not from America. So why are they sitting up here trying to perpetrate a fraud? That native blood, it means something. There's no such thing as native blood. There's no such thing as native blood. Native blood is Mongolian blood, just like there's no such thing as Jewish blood. Those people are Russian, they're German, they're all these other things. They come from that by nationality. Now, if people want to get behind some ideology and claim something else, you go ahead and do that. But it don't make you what. It don't make you that. It doesn't make you that. There's no such thing as Native American blood, because the first Native Americans were Caucasians. They called themselves the Know Nothing Party. They were the first ones to start using that term Native American. And the Mongolians then started using that term, the so-called Native American. They didn't start using that term till like the 70s. You see, they was trying to call them the American Indian, which they're not the American Indians. Native American and American Indian are two totally different things. You cannot trace back Native American on paper to American Indian. You cannot. There's a big gap there. See, but these are part of the lies they haven't worked out. Yeah, they'll say Jewish blood. Somebody Jewish. There's no such thing as Jewish blood. These are Caucasian people. But whatever. They want to call themselves that, so be it. But what we should not allow them to do is sit up here and write our narrative and tell us that we not American indigenous people, that we not the Mesoamericans, the first American, the Mesoamericans, the American indigenous people, the American Indians, the American Cowboys, our music, all that. We've always been in America and we've always had these cultures. This is who we are. We need to be celebrating our American indigenous culture separate from Africa. That Tariq Nasheed call it delineating, but goddamn it, hey man, you know, let those people have their culture here and we got our culture here. We got to stop trying to call ourselves, act like bootleg Africans, bootleg Africans, bootleg. Nah, man, we're not doing the cosplaying no more. So, but that's all, So I'm about to wrap this up. I just wanted to get in here because that Stevie Wonder thing and the Ghanaian thing, I was itching to talk about that. I wanted to get on here and talk about that, and just bring that out. I just wanted to bring that out because it's much needed. It's much needed. And what's also needed is this American Indigenous Street Music Festival. This is how we start to combat the lie, just by having a big old all-American Indigenous block party and having a good time. This is how we combat the lie. This is how we combat the lie. By having it. So everybody, can y'all hit that link down below? We still giving out those Olmec shirts. We still giving out the notorious Olmec shirts. Got one of my lovely wives gathering up the people who've donated. We're gonna be sending you out them shirts. We also got some on reorder because we starting to get it together and send them out. So like I said, anybody donating $60 and more to this, like I said, we're gonna send you out the notorious Olmec's t-shirt and another t-shirt just because, from my company ROA Apparel. So donate, hit the like button, also hit the like, hit the subscribe button, share this, hit the link. Can everybody see the link down there? Can everybody see the link? I'm gonna put it up in everybody's face. Can everybody see the link down there? Donate, please. Can everybody see the link? Mine should be in the mail. What mail? We ain't taking no. Oh, you talking your shirt? Oh, your shirt? Okay, brother, your shirt. Yeah. What size you wear? By G. What size you wear? And we gotta know what name and what address to send. Don't put your name and address on here, but we sending them out. Okay. What size you wear? Medium. Okay, I got you. We got you on it. I got a medium. We was just looking at one of the shirts today. We got a medium for you. Okay. But yeah, please, everybody go hit that link. Please, everybody hit that link and donate to the American Indigenous Street Music Festival. Everybody hit that link. Hit that link down below. Y'all should see it. It's AISM Better World org campaign. I'm gonna share the link. And then everybody donate that. Like I said, if everybody donate $40 a month for the next 3 months, we're gonna pull this off. All right. I'm giving my money to it. Again, this ain't about me. None of this money is going in my pocket. It's all going to pay for porta toilets and stuff like that for our big American Indigenous block party. Our big American Indigenous block party, everything, cookout, everything. We're doing everything. Then we're gonna have a good time. So come on out and whatnot. And I'm gonna put this in the link again because I'm gonna be up in here and making this happen. You know, it's the first time we doing this. This is the first time we are doing this. This is the first time we doing this. I just put it under Lord Righteous. You know, this is the first time we doing this. All right. All right. So subscribe to the channel. Hit your notifications and whatnot when it's on. Hit the notification. All right. Everybody thumbs it up because we're about to close it out. You see? Okay. All right, sister. Okay. Thank you, sister. Everybody, please donate, pass the word. We're going to do this. We're doing this for June. Let's make this happen. What we got 13,000 to go. We already raised 2,100. So let's just keep this going. I'm about to put some money in there my damn self. We got to make this happen. Let's make May. Let's make March a monumental. Let's get at least half this money up or more. Let's get this money up. Let's make this happen. You see, so we can have our American Indigenous Street and Music Festival. This is a non-African street festival, meaning non-African as far as culture. Again, everybody's invited to come out, everybody, but we only pushing our American Indigenous culture. That's it. The American Indians, the Mesoamericans, the American Cowboys, our soul music, our jazz music, our blues music, our R&B, everything's going to be played there. Our American Indigenous dishes are going to be out there. What we eat, which is what the world eats. We're going to have our food out there. All right. I think Bronze Man created the damn potato chip. Hey, man, we done did so much. So, all right. You need to put together a community under unincorporated association. I already did, brother. The Republic of America, the 10-star Confederation of the Republic of America. I already put it together. We already got a community. We got an American community. The Republic of America is an American community. You see, an American indigenous community. So we're doing our own thing. We're not trying to be Native Americans. We're not trying to connect to the Native Americans or any pan-Africanism. We're not doing that. We got our own American community. You see? So, all right. We got any questions before I close out? Man. Rest in peace, Angie Stone. She made some good music. You know, bad discernment, but made some good music. Bad discernment when it came to men. You know, because she shouldn't have been out there struggling. Sad to see they took these people took her royalties, these thieves and whatnot who she mentioned. But it is what it is. You know, Judgment Day is coming. All right. Thank you, sister. Thank you very much, Sister Baji. Baji, thank you. All right. We got any questions before we close out on this session? I'll be back. During the course of the week. You know how I do. I'm gonna be on live on Fridays. You know. We got any questions? Thank you. I appreciate it. Everybody sending out. Thank you. We need to have our own American Indigenous Street and Music Festival. We're just dealing with our American heritage, and that's what we're gonna have. I'm gonna just close this out with some American Indigenous music right here. This is our American Indigenous soul music right here. We stepping up for our things now. Don't stop letting people Africanize us, even the so-called pan-Africanists. But with that, good night.